Grief doesn't knock politely. It barges in, uninvited, but sometimes healing knocks too. It just wears the face of the enemy. Matt said, "Mr. Hughes, I think I'm your last chance, and you might be ours." Flashback. Newark, NJ, 1997. Heat rising off concrete, police sirens in the distance. A 10-year-old Darnell plays with a basketball in the street. The year was 1997. The world was just starting to forget what it didn't want to remember. But I was 10, and I would never forget. Suddenly, a police cruiser rolls up. Darnell's father, Marcus Hughes, 3, walks out of a corner store. Cop gets out. It's Michael Ridge, 30s, cocky, decorated. Confrontation ensues. Marcus calmly complies. A tense moment, then violence. My father's last words weren't in a courtroom. They were choked out beneath a man's knee for fitting the description of someone who never even existed. Screams. Darnell runs toward his father, handcuffed, face pressed against the pavement. The image freezes. A grim courtroom. Marcus is posthumously charged with resisting arrest. No body cam footage, no trial. Case dismissed. Michael Ridge is celebrated for courage under pressure. The news said my father resisted. The autopsy said he didn't. The city said they were sorry. But the badge said, case closed. Montage, Darnell in foster care, silent, angry, drawing in sketchbooks. He builds walls, gets in fights, barely graduates. Then therapy, college, and finally, he opens the Ridge Center for Troubled Youth. I built the Ridge Center on the ashes of my childhood. I kept the name Ridge, not to honor it, but to bury it under something better. Inside Darnell's office, tense silence. Matt explains his 6-year-old son, Noah, is dying from a rare form of leukemia. They've searched national bone marrow databases. Only one match remains, Darnell Hughes. Matt said, I know what my father did. I didn't come to defend him. But please, don't punish my son for a legacy he never chose. Darnell clenches his fists. He walks to a window, watching teens play basketball outside. You know your father stole mine, and now you're asking me to save yours? Matt said no. I'm asking you to save mine's grandson. Silence, clock ticking, rain falling again. It wasn't just a decision. It was a resurrection of every scar I thought I'd buried. And yet, something inside me stirred, because the boy he brought looked nothing like the man who broke me. Montage, Darnell alone at night. Newspaper clippings on his wall. His father's old photo. He's staring at a bone marrow test kit on his desk. Voiceover fades in. How do you weigh a life when the scale is stained by the past? How do you give blood to the same name that made yours bleed? Cut to Darnell on his rooftop, watching the city lights flicker. The test kit remains unopened beside him. Flashbacks of therapy sessions. A younger Darnell, arms crossed, speaking reluctantly. Therapist said, you said your rage was your shield, but what if it's also your cage? Cut back to the present. Darnell visits his mother's grave, brings flowers, sits beside it. Ma, I know what you'd say. You'd say, don't fight fire with fire, baby. Fight it with the kind of man you want your father to still be proud of. But what if that man is tired? He exhales, looks up at the sky. The wind picks up. Darnell visits the hospital, hesitantly, observes from a distance through a glass pane. A pale boy, Noah Ridge, plays with toy dinosaurs. His mother sits nearby, exhausted. I expected to see the shadow of a monster, but all I saw was a boy too young to understand monsters even exist. Nurse introduces Darnell to Noah. The boy reaches out his hand. Noah said, you're Mr. Darnell? Dad said you used to draw cool stuff. Do you want to draw one with me? Pause. Darnell kneels beside him. They start sketching dinosaur, a moment of fragile connection. Darnell and Matt speak in the hospital cafeteria. Darnell said, your father lied about everything. He killed my dad, then got a medal for it. Why should I save your son? Matt takes out a folder. Inside, old letters from Michael Ridge, addressed but never sent, written from a hospice facility. A confession, a plea. Matt said, I hated him too, Darnell. I didn't know until it was too late. He hid it, buried it like a coward. But I brought these to you because maybe the truth is what we both needed. Darnell reads. The letter's words echo in his mind. Michael said, I took a man's life, not out of fear, out of pride, out of power. I thought silence would protect my son from shame, but silence became the wound he now bleeds from. Tears well in Darnell's eyes, rage flickers, but also sorrow. Darnell sits in his center's chapel, alone, breathing deeply, the letter clutched in his hand. Flashbacks. his father's laughter being lifted on his shoulders the night he was taken. I thought letting go would feel like betrayal, but I realized holding on was killing me slower than hate ever killed my father. Back in the hospital, Matt receives a call. It's a match. Tears fall. He runs to Noah's room and holds him. Cut to Darnell sitting in his office, a child's drawing of a dinosaur pinned to the wall. Next to it, a copy of Marcus Hughes' photo. In the end, I gave blood to the family of the man who bled mine dry. Not because I forgot, but because I remembered the boy I used to be, and I refused to let him stay broken. We always talk about forgiveness like it's freedom, but sometimes forgiveness is the new cage they want to lock you in. And this time, I walked in willingly, not knowing who'd slammed the door behind me. Darnell arrives at his community center. Protesters there too. Some familiar faces, old mentors, former students, people who once looked up to him, now unsure, betrayed. Community member 1 said, "You gave him your blood? You forgot who his father was." Jason said, "You said healing ain't the same as forgetting. So why does this feel like you forgot us?" Darnell stands silently, eyes scanning the hurt. Darnell said, "I thought doing the right thing would feel right. But the truth is, peace feels lonely when you're the only one trying to hold it." Darnell gets pulled from a speaking engagement. Sponsors pause funding. News headlines twist the story. Activist donates blood to cop's family. Flashback. Darnell is a boy, watching his father being led away in cuffs. Cut to Darnell now, being escorted from a school by administrators. Once they arrested my father in front of me. Now, they erase me for choosing to be human. Back at home, Darnell turns on his phone. Dozens of angry messages. Death threats, racial slurs from both sides. Matt watching the news visibly shaken. He dials. No answer. At the hospital, Noah being prepped. Darnell walks down the sterile hallway in scrubs. Music soft, slow. Nurse said, "You sure you're ready?" My father died without anyone choosing to give him life. Today, I give mine to someone who didn't ask for their father's sins. Montage, the transplant procedure. Overlaid with scenes of Darnell's father, laughing, holding him, standing in the doorway before the fatal day, all fading to white. Recovery. Darnell wakes up groggy. Noah's surgery is successful. Matt sits beside his son, crying. Nurses and doctors nod quietly. Back home, Darnell receives a package. Inside, graffiti-covered pamphlets, burned letters. A picture of his father's funeral defaced. Attached, he wouldn't be proud. Darnell slams the box down, paces the room, breathes heavily, finally breaks down in tears, sobbing silently in the dark. Darnell said, "You ever feel like no matter what you do, you're just another black man people want to punish for not staying angry enough?" He records a voice memo, unsure who it's for. "They think I betrayed them. But how long do I carry revenge before it becomes the thing that kills me too?" A week later, Noah wakes up in a new hospital bed, still pale but smiling. Darnell visits, just the two of them. Noah said, "Does it hurt?" "It did, but I felt worse." "Dad said I had your blood now. Does that mean I'm a little bit like you?" Darnell pauses, a lump in his throat. "Maybe, and that's a good thing." They draw together again. This time, a superhero flying over the city. Noah names him Hope Man. We aren't just defined by who we come from. Sometimes we're reborn by who chooses to show up. Darnell walks outside the hospital. Protesters are gone. A few candles remain. A mural has been painted on the hospital wall. Darnell, Noah, and the words "Blood heals." I didn't save Noah to be forgiven. I saved him so that the next generation wouldn't drown in a war we never chose. Because healing is resistance too. The truth doesn't knock. It barges in when the lies are tired of pretending they were ever enough. Footage plays. Officer Ridge admits the arrest of Darnell's father was falsified. The boy was smart, had too much influence. They needed him gone, he says, stone-faced. Darnell freezes. Cut to Darnell driving, fast, furious, headlights cutting the night. He bursts into Matt's home. Noah is asleep upstairs. Darnell throws the tape on the table. Darnell said, "You knew?" Matt said, "I suspected, but I didn't know." Darnell said, "He stole my father's life, and you let me give mine to his son." Matt steps forward, visibly shaken. Matt said, "You didn't give your blood to save him. You did it to stop history from swallowing Noah too. That wasn't weakness. That was the strongest thing I've ever seen." Silence, heavy breathing. Darnell's eyes well with tears, but he doesn't let them fall. News breaks. The confession goes viral. Headlines: Systematic Sabotage Exposed. Ridge Case, a legacy of injustice. National media storms the Ridge Center. Protesters return, but this time it's not just black voices, white allies, college students, former enemies turned protectors. They chant Darnell's name, demand reform, call out police corruption. Cut to a town hall meeting, old city officials squirming as Darnell reads aloud from the transcript. Matt stands behind him. They needed him gone. That's what your officer said. And yet we're the ones always asked to be calm, to be patient, to heal quietly. Not this time! Not this time! Councilwoman finally stands. Mr. Carter, what do you want? I want his name cleared. I want his record destroyed. And I want every black boy who walks into this city to know he doesn't have to survive to be worthy of living. Darnell and Matt sit on a rooftop overlooking the city. Silence. Matt said, I don't know how to keep facing you after what my father did. Darnell said, you don't have to face me. You have to face the part of you that still thinks you're separate from all this. Matt said, but I'm not him. Dad, you're not, but you're also not him. You carry his name, his shadow, his son. Matt bows his head. Long pause. Said, you want to fix it? Then don't just apologize. Fight. Final montage begins. Darnell speaks at a press conference. The Ridge Center is being renamed the Carter House for Justice. Applause roars. Matt steps forward and unveils a new sign. We see teens painting a mural on the center wall. Darnell's father surrounded by flames, but from the ashes, children rise, holding books, keys, hearts. From the wreckage of one man's silence, 1,000 voices found a reason to rise. This wasn't about revenge. It was about never letting the fire burn without light. Darnell and Noah walk together in the neighborhood park. Noah points to a plaque on a bench, dedicated to Terrence Carter, a father taken, a legacy reclaimed. Noah said, that was your dad? Said, he didn't get to finish his story. So now, we tell it for him. Darnell's voice faintly plays over news clips of his father's exoneration. Then, fade into a still courtroom. A judge stands solemn. Judge said, in light of the uncovered evidence and testimonial confession, this court formally vacates the conviction of Terrence Carter. To Darnell, closing his eyes, his hand grips a worn photo of his father. In the crowd, Matt, Noah, Malik, Anaya, all watching. For years, the story was about a man taken down. Now it became about a man lifted back up, not by the system that broke him, but by the son who refused to forget. Darnell's face is now on TV, magazine covers, panel discussions. An offer arrives, a position on the president's task force on youth justice reform. To Darnell, sitting across from a White House official. Officials said, you've inspired more than a city. You've stirred a movement. Movements are loud, healing's quiet. I want to do both. Flashbacks, the Ridge Center, kids laughing, painting murals. Cut to Noah, leading a circle of younger boys through a conflict resolution game. Scene shifts to Darnell pacing his bedroom. He speaks to a video camera. Darnell said, if I leave now, I carry our story to the world. But if I stay, I keep building it here. Darnell finds a letter left on his desk. Handwritten, shaky script. It's from Noah. You saved my life. And I don't just mean the blood. I mean the stories. The way you taught me to cry without shame. The way you looked at me like I wasn't just Ridge's son, but my own name. Tears fall from Darnell's face as he reads. Noah said, if you leave to help more kids, do it. But if you stay, I'll be right here, helping you help them. Darnell folds the letter, places it next to a picture of him and his father, Terrence, smiling, holding young Darnell. Montage. A new wing is added to the Ridge Center. It's named the Terrence Carter Institute for Youth Justice. Kids from all boroughs attend. Matt teaches night classes. Malik runs the mentorship program. Anaya hosts group therapy for kids of incarcerated parents. Into the classroom. Darnell speaks to a group of young black boys. Darnell said, you're not broken. You're not dangerous. You're not your file. You're a storm. You're survival. You're the beginning of something that doesn't end in fear. The boys nod. Some wipe tears. One raises his hand. Can I become